Venus is a planet that challenges everything we think we know about time, about days and years, and about the rhythm of life. From Earth, Venus appears as a bright, shimmering jewel in the night sky, glowing with an almost magical intensity just after sunset or before sunrise. Its beauty is undeniable, yet what lies beneath that sparkling surface is a world of extremes, a world where the very concept of a day is unlike anything we have ever experienced. On Venus, a single rotation of the planet, the equivalent of a day, lasts longer than an entire orbit around the Sun. What this means is difficult to grasp, even for scientists who study celestial mechanics every day. While we are accustomed to days that are shorter than years. On Venus, the opposite is true. The planet spins so slowly on its axis that a single day stretches beyond what we would call a year. Imagine standing on the surface of Venus, if it were possible to survive its crushing atmosphere and deadly heat. The sun would rise, but it would rise so slowly that the journey from horizon to zenith would take months. Light would creep across the clouds, barely noticeable hour by hour, yet gradually illuminating the thick, yellowish haze that envelopes the planet. The concept of a sunrise on Venus is almost a human impossibility to perceive in real time. There would be no fleeting moments of dawn, no rapid change from night to day. Instead, there is an endless stretching of light. A creeping warmth that seems to hover eternally over the horizon. The consequences of such a slow rotation are far-reaching. Venus' atmosphere is dense, composed mainly of carbon dioxide, with clouds of sulfuric acid swirling in thick layers overhead. Because the planet rotates so slowly, the air at the surface does not experience the Coriolis effects that drive winds on Earth. Instead, the atmosphere moves almost as if detached from the ground, flowing in enormous patterns driven by solar heating and the planet's overall slow spin. High above the surface, the clouds race around the planet at incredible speeds, faster than the planet itself rotates. This creates an otherworldly vision, a planet spinning lazily beneath a sky of rapidly moving storms. The surface in quiet stagnation while the heavens whirl above in a chaotic yet strangely rhythmic dance. The slow rotation also has a profound effect on temperature and climate. On Earth, the alternation of day and night allows the surface to cool and warm regularly, creating cycles that sustain life and shape the weather. On Venus, there is almost no such relief. The sun, though moving very slowly, bathes the surface in continuous heat, trapped and magnified by the thick atmosphere. Night does not bring coolness, it brings nearly the same oppressive heat. A day on Venus is a day of unending intensity, a long stretch of relentless energy that shapes everything from winds to geological activity. To contemplate this phenomenon is to confront the limits of human intuition. We think of days as fleeting, as units of time marked by sunrise and sunset, by the movement of shadows and the passage of hours. Venus shows us that time can behave differently, that a day is not a universal measure. On this planet, a single rotation might encompass the entirety of a year as measured from Earth's perspective. Astronomers, studying Venus through telescopes and spacecraft, often describe the sensation as paradoxical, almost dreamlike. The planet's slow spin challenges not only calculations but imagination itself. Scientists have sent probes to Venus to understand its unique rotation and the conditions it produces. These machines reveal a world cloaked in mystery, thick clouds that hide the surface from view, enormous volcanoes that spew ancient lava, and plains that stretch endlessly beneath a burning sky. The slow rotation complicates everything, from navigation to the movement of the atmosphere. Even the measurement of time, which we take for granted on Earth, must be adapted to Venus' peculiar rhythm. Days are counted not in hours but in months, and the planet itself seems to move at the pace of eternity, slowly spinning, almost hesitant to complete a single turn, yet there is a strange beauty in this slowness. The very fact that a day is longer than a year allows the mind to ponder concepts of patience and endurance on a cosmic scale. Shadows stretch for months across the landscape, and clouds drift lazily over valleys and mountains. The light, diffused by thick layers of clouds, casts everything in a soft, golden haze, a perpetual twilight that lasts for ages. Venus' slow rotation creates a world where time feels suspended, where each moment is drawn out to an almost infinite degree. For humans trying to imagine life there, this presents both wonder and challenge. There is no natural rhythm of day and night to govern work, rest, or activity. Biological clocks, tuned to the rising and setting of the sun on Earth, would find no meaning here. A single day could feel like a lifetime, a year could pass unnoticed as the planet turns ever so slowly. It is a place that tests perception, imagination, and understanding, reminding us that the universe is vast and varied, that time is relative, and that even the simplest measures, day and year, can behave in ways that defy all expectations. In the end, Venus teaches us humility. It shows that the cosmos is not bound by the same rules that govern our daily experience. Its slow, deliberate rotation, its eternal twilight, and its paradoxical day-year relationship offer a lesson in patience, wonder, and the limitless variety of planetary life. To study Venus is to step into a world that moves to a rhythm entirely its own, where a single day is a testament to the vastness of time and the incredible diversity of the universe. Time on Venus is not merely a measure of hours and days, it is a concept that stretches, bends, and challenges everything we believe about the passage of moments. On Earth, the cycle of day and night is predictable. The sun rises, casts its light, warms the land, and eventually sets, creating a rhythm that has guided life for millennia. Humans, animals, and even plants rely on this reliable pulse of light and darkness. On Venus, however, the rhythm is unlike anything familiar. A single day, longer than the planet's year, means that the planet experiences far fewer sunrises than one might expect. Days and years lose their usual meaning, and the very essence of time seems to twist. Imagine standing on a plateau under Venus' dense, yellow sky. If the sun were visible through the thick clouds, it would appear as a pale, glowing orb that barely shifts over the course of weeks or months. Shadows would move imperceptibly, as if time itself has slowed. To an observer, the concept of a day becomes almost meaningless. Where we are used to hours passing in what seems like a heartbeat, a day on Venus stretches beyond human comprehension. The slow rotation challenges not only measurement but perception. The planet teaches a lesson about patience and the enormity of cosmic time. The paradox of Venus' day is further complicated by its retrograde rotation. Unlike Earth, Venus spins in the opposite direction of its orbit around the Sun, meaning that if one could stand on the planet, the Sun would appear to rise in the west and set in the east. This reversal, combined with the slow spin, creates an almost dreamlike progression of light across the landscape. A sunrise, normally a brief event on Earth, would take months to unfold, and the sunlight would creep across valleys, mountains, and plains in a slow, deliberate sweep. The day itself becomes an epic journey rather than a cycle, a visual and temporal spectacle stretching far beyond the human scale of experience. This extreme slowness also impacts Venus' atmospheric behavior in profound ways. On Earth, rotation drives the Coriolis effect, influencing winds, storms, and ocean currents. On Venus, the slow spin results in a weaker Coriolis effect at the surface, producing winds that barely move across the ground, while the upper atmosphere whirls at incredible speeds, circling the planet far faster than the ground beneath. This creates a surreal contrast, a placid, almost motionless surface, cloaked in heat and pressure, under a rapidly moving sky of clouds racing at hundreds of kilometers per hour. To study Venus is to confront a world where motion and time are divorced, where the surface and sky operate on entirely different rhythms. The paradox extends beyond science into imagination and philosophy. A day longer than a year challenges our understanding of life's cycles. Humans, whose bodies are attuned to the steady passage of day and night, would struggle to adapt. Biological clocks would lose meaning, sleep cycles and activity patterns would clash with the planet's slow rhythm. To survive, one would need to abandon earthly concepts of time and accept the planet's unique pace. On Venus, time is no longer linear in a practical sense, it becomes a vast, stretching continuum that dwarfs human experience. Even celestial measurement becomes a puzzle. Observers trying to track Venus' position, its movement across the sky, or the timing of its orbit, must account for the mismatch between its day and year. A year passes in less time than a day, an inversion that upends traditional astronomical logic. For astronomers peering at Venus from afar, this inversion has long been a source of fascination and wonder. It highlights the diversity of planetary behavior, reminding us that the universe does not conform to the simple expectations of human experience, yet this paradox of time carries with it a strange beauty. To imagine life on Venus is to imagine patience and endurance on a cosmic scale. Shadows inch across the landscape, clouds drift slowly above, and the glow of the sun seems eternal. The very concept of waiting transforms, becoming almost infinite. Months can pass with a single sunrise or sunset, and the world itself seems to breathe in slow, deliberate cycles. In this way, Venus is not merely a planet, it is a teacher, showing that the universe operates on scales far beyond human intuition. Ultimately, Venus' paradox of time is a reminder of the vastness of the cosmos and the limitations of human perception. A day longer than a year is not just a scientific curiosity, it is a symbol of the diversity and wonder of planetary life. It challenges assumptions, provokes reflection, and sparks the imagination. In understanding Venus, humans are forced to expand their sense of time. To imagine a universe where days and years can defy convention, and to accept that the rhythms of life and nature are far more varied than we could ever dream. On Venus, the sun does not set in the way we are accustomed to on Earth. There is no quick fading of light, no fleeting moment of crimson or gold. Instead, the sun lingers near the horizon for weeks, months even, casting an unending twilight across the landscape. Imagine standing on a ridge and watching the pale sun crawl slowly toward the horizon, inching its way through thick, yellow clouds that hang heavily in the sky. Each hour passes almost unnoticed, yet over weeks, the world gradually transforms. Shadows stretch longer than imagination allows, creeping imperceptibly across plains and hills. The light softens but never truly disappears, bathing everything in a constant, almost eternal glow. The visual experience of a Venusian sunset is unlike anything known on Earth. The clouds, thick and suffused with sulfuric acid droplets, refract the sunlight in strange ways, producing muted golds, greens, and yellows that shimmer across the dense atmosphere. There is no clear distinction between day and night, only a slow, dreamlike progression from one state to another. The sun's descent becomes a meditation, a lesson in patience, as if the planet itself teaches time's subtlety. On Earth, sunsets last mere minutes, yet on Venus, a single sunset could encompass an entire human lifetime if one measured moments by hours. The prolonged day and slow sunset create extraordinary climatic effects. Temperatures remain near extremes, with the planet's thick atmosphere trapping heat like a furnace. On Earth, night brings relief from the day's warmth, but on Venus, the extended daylight ensures that there is almost no respite. Surface winds move sluggishly, while above, the clouds race in their superrotational dance, sometimes circling the planet faster than the ground itself spins. The contrast between surface stillness and atmospheric motion creates a surreal environment. The land seems frozen in time while the sky flows like molten liquid above it. From a philosophical perspective, Venusian sunsets invite reflection. They distort human perception of time, reminding observers that the universe operates on scales far beyond everyday experience. A sunset that lasts months teaches patience and endurance. Shadows move slowly, almost imperceptibly, stretching across volcanic plains and jagged mountain ridges. The light that bathes the surface is constant but never harsh, a soft, diffuse illumination that seems to suspend the planet in a state of perpetual contemplation. It is as if Venus itself moves to a rhythm designed for cosmic observation rather than human activity. The implications for life, or for hypothetical human activity on Venus, are staggering. Biological cycles based on light and dark would be thrown into chaos. Sleep, work, and other rhythms tied to sunrise and sunset would lose all meaning. A single sunrise or sunset could last longer than a human lifespan, challenging the mind to comprehend scales of time beyond imagination. Even if protective habitats were established, humans would need to create artificial cycles of day and night to maintain physical and mental health. Venus teaches, in no uncertain terms, that the universe does not conform to human habits or expectations. There is also a strange beauty in the planet's paradoxical illumination. The prolonged sunset transforms familiar concepts of light, shadow, and color into something alien yet mesmerizing. The thick clouds, constantly shifting and refracting sunlight, create a landscape that is at once static and alive. Mountains, valleys, and volcanic plains are cast in a soft glow that never fully fades, producing a sense of eternal calm, a timeless stillness broken only by the slow movement of shadows and the shifting patterns of clouds overhead. In essence, a sunset on Venus is not a simple celestial event, it is a grand performance, an epic spectacle of time, light, and motion. It is a reminder that the cosmos operates on rhythms vastly different from those we experience. Venus, with its months-long sunsets, teaches patience, awe, and humility. It encourages us to imagine what it would mean to exist in a world where a single day encompasses an entire year. Where light and shadow stretch beyond the bounds of memory, and where the planet itself moves at a pace almost beyond comprehension. Ultimately, Venus' long sunsets are a lesson in the beauty of cosmic scale. They reveal the grandeur of planetary mechanics and the subtle complexity of time, encouraging humans to expand their understanding and imagination. On this strange, luminous world, a sunset is not an ending, but a prolonged, meditative journey, a reminder that even the most familiar experiences can become extraordinary when measured on the scale of the universe. Venus stands as a profound teacher in the cosmic classroom, a planet whose very existence challenges the human understanding of time, motion, and the rhythms of life. Its slow, deliberate rotation, which stretches a single day beyond the length of its year, is more than a scientific curiosity, it is a meditation on patience, perspective, and the vastness of the universe. To study Venus is to confront a reality that is both alien and illuminating, to grasp that the rules governing life on Earth are not universal, but merely local guidelines in the grand theater of the cosmos. A day on Venus unfolds with a grandeur and slowness that is almost incomprehensible to human experience. The sun rises not in minutes, but over weeks and months, creeping across the horizon like a hesitant traveler. Shadows stretch endlessly. Clouds swirl with a slow persistence, and the thick, golden sky holds a light that seems eternal. The planet's unusual rotation transforms ordinary celestial phenomena into extraordinary spectacles. What we perceive as a simple day-night cycle becomes a vast, drawn-out performance, a cosmic ballet choreographed over months. This extraordinary rhythm forces humans to rethink their notions of time and existence. The lessons Venus imparts extend far beyond physics and astronomy. They touch the philosophical and emotional dimensions of human understanding. On a world where a single day lasts longer than a year, the pace of life is redefined. Urgency, impatience, and haste, the hallmarks of human society, lose significance. The planet embodies endurance, showing that time is not uniform and that experiences can stretch or compress in ways that defy intuition. Observing Venus invites reflection on human life itself, how fleeting our days are, how quickly moments pass, and how perspective shapes the value of experience. Venus teaches that even in an unchanging, hostile environment, there is profound beauty and meaning in persistence and observation. The extreme environment of Venus amplifies these lessons. Its thick carbon dioxide atmosphere, clouded with corrosive sulfuric acid, creates a greenhouse effect so intense that surface temperatures soar to levels capable of melting lead. Winds rage in the upper atmosphere while the surface remains almost still. Life as humans know it could not exist here, yet Venus' very hostility highlights the diversity of planetary conditions and the incredible adaptability of the universe. It reminds us that planets are not merely static objects in space, they are dynamic systems, each with its own unique patterns, rhythms, and stories to tell. Venus also challenges our relationship with light, shadow, and perception. A day that outlasts a year changes the way one experiences the sun and the sky. Prolonged light alters temperature, shapes weather, and transforms landscapes into alien vistas of eternal glow. Shadows, creeping across mountains and volcanic plains, move at a pace that feels eternal, inviting contemplation. Every moment is magnified, every movement is amplified, and the slow passing of time becomes an opportunity to observe and reflect on the workings of a world far different from our own. In a broader sense, Venus is a cosmic metaphor. It reminds humanity of the relativity of experience and the vastness of the universe. What seems normal, familiar, or logical on Earth is not universal. Days can be longer than years, suns can rise in reverse, and time itself can behave in ways that defy expectation. Studying Venus is a humbling reminder that human perception is limited and that the cosmos operates according to principles far beyond our immediate comprehension. It encourages curiosity, patience, and a deep respect for the complexity and diversity of planetary life. Ultimately, Venus embodies a cosmic lesson about perspective. Its slow, paradoxical rotation, its eternal twilight, and its extremes of climate and atmosphere challenge humans to expand their understanding of time, existence, and the rhythms of nature. It is a planet that teaches both scientifically and philosophically, revealing that the universe is far richer, stranger, and more awe-inspiring than we often imagine. Venus asks us to slow down, to observe carefully, and to appreciate the vast scales on which cosmic events unfold.